Hi and welcome to Larry's Computer Class. Today we're going to talk about domain names. A domain name is your www dot whatever your name's going to be. For examples, we're working on my store webpage, so we can go and maybe use a domain name like www.mystore.com. Domain names you can get anywhere you want. There's hundreds, maybe thousands of web pages on the internet. You can go to get a domain name. Usually you purchase it. It's generally around $10 a year for a domain name. Some are a little more, some are a little less. Some web pages will run a special. You can get it for $8. Some are $12, but that's for a year, so that's pretty cheap. What you're going to want to do is you're going to go to, you can go to Google if you want. Put in domain names. For sale. And buy premiums. And there's hundreds of them you can go to. They're all pretty good. Once you own a domain name, and as long as you pay for it every year, before it expires, it will be yours. You don't really own your domain name. You pretty much rent it or lease it. And I say that because if you get a domain name, say you get it for 2 years, you pay the $20 for the 2 years, and at the end of the 2 years, if you don't resubscribe or repay, make a new payment before your 2 years are up, what will happen is you'll end up losing that name, and somebody else may take over that name. Like if it's a popular name, My Store, something like that, My New Store. If that's a popular name that a lot of people want, what they do is they go to a website like GoDaddy.com. Right here, they do domains. They go to GoDaddy.com. They put in that name, mynewstore.com, www.mynewstore.com, and it'll come up and it'll say that name is not available, and then they can actually go and add their name to a list. There's different places you can go to. Every web page is a little bit different, but they can actually go and put their name on a list so that if you don't renew in time and your time runs out, then the next person on the list is offered that web page. If they want it, then it's theirs for $10 a year, $12 a year, whatever you were paying. If they say, no, I have one, I'm all set, I don't need it, then it goes to the next person on the list. So you got to be really careful with your domain names. If you've got a web page going and you're starting off and it's been working on it for a couple years and you got your customers coming in and they go on their web page, they see what stuff you have on sale, they see what new items you have, what new merchandise, things like that. They go on your web page, check all this stuff out. Maybe your web page is advanced enough where people can actually order online and you mail stuff to them. If you forget to pay for your domain name and you lose that name, it's going to cause you a lot of trouble, because you will not be able to get that name back until the person that has it gives it up. And then if you end up on a list and your name is number 20 on that list, it's got to go through the other 19 people before it'll get back to you, and that could take a long time. Someone may take over your name, your domain name, and they go to GoDaddy.com. They get a notice saying that domain name is available. Do you want it? They may say yes, and they could go sign up and buy it for 20 years. You know, $200. They send Google $200 on their credit card, and then that name is theirs for the next 20 years. And then if you're 19th or 20th on a list, you're never going to get that name back. So then you have to go find a new name. You go to GoDaddy or whoever you go to, and you have to come up with a new domain name, and then you have to find a way to tell all your customers that your name changed. So be really, really careful about paying for your name on time. If you're not using your web page, you've lost interest in it, then that's fine. Let it expire and let someone else have the name. But if you got a web page that's up and running, make sure you pay for your name on time. Like, the best thing to do, if you got a page that's up and running, buy your name for 5 years. $50. You're good for 5 years. And then 4 years later, when you still have a year to go, sign up for another 5 years or 10 years, stuff like that. Just some good advice to keep in mind on domain names. Your host, we're going to talk about your host too in a little bit. But for now, your domain name, simply you can go to GoDaddy.com. There's a ton of them out there. Go through the internet, whatever you want to do. GoDaddy's fine. They run specials all the time. GoDaddy's good because they carry domain names and they host. Your host is a web page like GoDaddy's or whatever you want. I use webhost. 000.webhost.com is what I use. Good web host so far. I haven't had much problems with it at all. But your host is where you're going to sign up to. You go to your host, you register, give them your name, email address, stuff like that. You get a username, you get a password, and things like that. And then once you're all set up, you're going to log in. And your host is where you're going to upload all your files to. Like, for example, the web page that we're working on my classes is here. We have just a couple files here, nothing big going on. But what we would do is we would actually upload these files to our host, which is pretty simple. I'll show you how to do that probably in the next video. And then once your files are uploaded to your host, then you can go online, go to Firefox, Internet Explorer, whatever you're going to use, Safari, Opera, Chrome, whatever you're going to use, to type in www.mynewstore.com and your web page will come up. So you need two things to get your web page started. You need your domain name and you need a host to exactly what it says, to host your web page, which means the place where you upload all your files. Now we're at GoDaddy. You can use GoDaddy for both, like I said. Some websites offer domain names and some offer hosting. Some don't offer both, some do offer both. So search around. Word of advice, it's easier if you find something that offers both. Just makes your life easier. It's just one web page you have to go to instead of two. But simply come to one of the web pages. Come down here. You're going to type in www.mynewstore, and then the .com is already here. You don't have to put that in. And you click go. And then it comes up here. Oh, sorry. Invalid search. Please remove the www from the beginning of your host name. You would just put in mynewstore.com and go. Okay, here we go. Alright, now it says mynewstore.com is already taken. And then underneath they give you some suggestions. You're going to have to get creative on your name. There's millions of web pages out there, so there's millions of domain names, and a lot of them are going to be taken, so you have to get a little creative here. Now here the advice, my space new space store.com. That's available, $12.99 for the year. There's a little asterisk after this. Be careful of these. Make sure you go to the bottom of the page and read what it means. I happen to already looked, and all it is it tells you there's an 18-cent tax on something that they add to the price of this. You want to pay the extra 18 cents, that's fine. Use this, or you're going to have to get creative and come up with a different name. And then you come back up here, you simply go back, try a different name. You could put in my new, actually one of the displays were my new New Jersey. My New Jersey store, my New Mexico store, my Alaska store, my Connecticut store, whatever you want. That was one of the recommendations on the page, I believe. Hit go, and it says my new New Jersey store is available, $12.99 for the year plus the 18 cents tax, whatever that was for. Let's just go back for a second. And anyways, you're going to have to get creative. You want to try and not make your name too long. You want it as short as possible so it's easy for your customers to type in. You don't want something too long, because then they're typing, and the longer they have to type, the more chance of them making a mistake. Another thing you can do once you get your name set up, say you want to do the other one, it's maybe a little easier. My new store. That one was also available. Same thing, $12.99 a year. You would just simply add it to your cart. One domain, pending registration. What you're going to have to do, come to GoDaddy, you're going to have to do this with all of them. You got to log in, you got to register. Everything you want to do, create account. You need to create account before you start. It doesn't really matter if you create a name first or you create your account first. Any host you go to, any domain name you're going to go to, they all go to a centralized database to check the domain names. So if you come here and you put in mynewstore.com and it says not available, don't waste your time going to Yahoo search and put in domain names and try a different web page and then put in mynewstore.com on that web page, because it's still going to come up unused. So it doesn't matter which one you use. They all have to go to a central base. Every single domain name is stored in a database at the same place. So no matter what web page you go to, if it's not available at one, it's not going to be available at any other one. You can go check 100 of them if you want, and it's still going to come up not available. So once you find a place that you want to go to, stick with it. So after this, you want to create an account, or after you put it in your shopping cart, continue to your registration. Your registration. Now your registration for this particular thing for a domain, because domains are very secure. You want something that's really secure. You don't want someone getting a hold of your domain name and using it. If they take your domain name, they could create another web page, and people will put in your domain name, and they're going to go to a web page that's going to give them a bunch of viruses, a bunch of spamware. It could mess up files in their computer. It could shut things down. It could cause a lot of problems with someone's computer. And what's going to happen is they're using your domain name, so what's going to happen is if something happens to the computer, they're going to come after you. So it's very secure, a lot of security. So this form is not like any, not like your Facebook or your MySpace or Twitter or anything like that, where you just put in your name, an email, a username, and a password. Boom, you're done. You can go sign on. It's a little more complex than that. They require a lot of information. Take your time, fill it out completely. You're going to fill out this page, your name, first name, last name. What's this? They're going to say add you at mynewstore.com. That's probably for emails. That would be your name. Like my webpage is Larry's Computer Class, so my email is Larry at Larry's Computer Class for another $2.50 a month. I'm not sure what that is. You can click on details and read. Yeah, see, you get 5 email addresses, 2 gig email storage, 1 gig cloud storage, whatever that is. If you want it, you don't really need that. That's up to you. A company name, if you don't have a legal company name, leave this blank. Legal company name is like Larry's Computer Class, where you actually go to a lawyer, have them do a search, make sure that name is available as a business name. You pay them. It's pretty cheap. It's a one-time deal, I think. Maybe $100, $150 company name. Then you can put it in here once you get your paperwork saying that's legit. And then there's a checkbox here that actually confirms it. So by checking this box, you certify that the company name specified above is the legal registrant of this domain name. So if you're not a legal company, leave this blank. Leave this blank. And then you put in your address, your city, all that stuff. You click next. It's going to go on to a few other pages. fill it out completely, and then when you're done with your registration, it's going to come up with a little box with your credit card information. You put your credit card information in, you pay the $12.99 for your domain name, and now that domain name is yours, and you're all ready to go. So the next step you would have to do is you would actually go to a host, or if you use GoDaddy, maybe after you purchase your domain name, it may bring up a web page that brings you to hosting. If not, just come back to here, to the main page, come to hosting, and they usually have several different plans, and this is true with a lot of the hosts. They'll have like this: economy, deluxe, and ultimate. What you want to do is you want to look here at how much space you have, what they offer you. The biggest thing here is your gigabyte space and your bandwidth. Emails, they give you 100 emails. I think that's pretty much plenty. They give you 10 MySQL databases, 1 gig apiece. So that's not a bad plan. $4.24 a month, and you buy a year at a time. So 4 times 12, $50 it's going to cost you to get your host for 1 year. And then it was $12, $13 for your domain for the year. So you're looking at under $65 for a year to have your web page published, live and running. Other things you want to look at here, notice the difference. Space, 150 gigs versus 10 gig. Bandwidth unlimited. Your bandwidth is depends on your customers. When someone goes to www.mynewstore.com, their computer is actually going to request the files from your host, GoDaddy.com, if that's who you use, and GoDaddy sends those files to the customer's computer, and then your browser, your Internet Explorer, Firefox, Google Chrome, whichever you're using, the browser will take those files that are sent to it from GoDaddy, and it'll open it up and it'll display your web page. That's your bandwidth. That's the size of your files. If you have a lot of files, a lot of pictures, a lot of videos, your bandwidth is going to be more. So it's actually the size of all your files. Like if you go to my web page, come down to property, and it tells you size on disk, 164K. Now that's a really small web page. This could very easily be a 168 meg file, which is 168 million bytes. Stuff like that. It could actually be 1 gig, a billion bytes. So that's the size of your file, and every time someone requests your web page, then those files have to be sent to their computer. So that's what they're talking about, bandwidth. So your bandwidth, unlimited bandwidth, is a very good thing, because if there's a limit on this and you have a lot of customers, say they give you 1 gig a month, and a lot of your hosts do limit you on bandwidth, so you have to be really careful about that. So if they give you 1 gig of bandwidth and you've got customers, 1 gig of bandwidth a month is usually what they go by. If you get a lot of customers that are going to your web page and they're requesting it and they're using up your bandwidth, say they used 10 meg every time they upload your web page, eventually it's going to be the middle of the month. It could be, the 15th or the 20th of the month. You've run out of bandwidth, and now they stop your web page from being loaded until the 1st of the month, when another 1 gig is available again. So that's very important. Unlimited bandwidth. Unlimited bandwidth. This gives you 150 gig of space. Your space is how much room they give you to upload your files. When you upload your files to them, to GoDaddy.com host, if your web page is 10 gig, then you're going to upload 10 gig and you'll have 140 gig left of space. So the gig in space is how big your web page is. Your bandwidth is how many times your web page can be uploaded to somebody's computer. 500 emails, That's a little crazy. I don't know who would use 500 emails, but whatever. And this gives you 25 databases, MySQL databases. When you get to that point, when you're doing people registration and logging onto your web page, to your store, when you're gonna say you do online, where people can go to your web page, they can look at your stuff, and they can put in an order from your web page instead of going to your store. They can put in an order right from your web page and then have it shipped to their house. You're going to need a MySQL database to keep track of everyone that registers. Someone goes onto your web page, they click register, they put in their information, their name, their email, date of birth, whatever they want, username, their password, all that's stored in a database. So when they come back to your web page, they click login, they put in their username, their password, and it comes right to your web page. And then you keep track of that. So when you get to that point, you're going to need MySQL databases, 25, that's quite a few, as opposed to 10 with this plan. And then you get your ultimate plan, unlimited everything pretty much. Unlimited websites, space, and bandwidth. 1,000 emails, unlimited MySQL databases at 1 gig each. So if you get a database that you hit 1 gig in size, people put in their registration, all their information, it gets up to 1 gig, you simply just create a different database, another one, and unlimited. You could have 1,000 databases. So that's not bad for $8.49 a month. So you have to choose, go through this. This actually isn't a bad plan. 150 gig, that's quite a bit of space. Unlimited web pages and bandwidth, that's good. 500 emails, that's plenty. 25 MySQL databases, that's plenty too to start. $6 a month. And also, if you sign up for this plan and you have it for 5 years, every year you renew it, whatever you want to do, or you just sign up for 5 years at a time, after 3 years or 4 years, if you find 150 gig of space isn't enough and you need to go to the unlimited plan, you just simply click an update link and you can simply go to this web page. Just pay the difference, whatever, renew this, get this one for 5 years, $8.49 a month, sign up for a year, 5 years, whatever you want to do. It's very simple to upgrade. You start with this one, you can upgrade to this one. Start with this one, you can upgrade to this one. So it's pretty simple to progress as your web page gets bigger and bigger. And that's pretty much it. You come to your domain, come to GoDaddy or whoever you're going to use, register, create your account, pick your domain name, and then you just pay for it. And there you go. You'll be all set. And actually, if you're on your host, you can, on this one, and this one also, just so you know, it's got an SSL certificate with fixed IP addresses, premium DNS site scanning. What that is, that's security. GoDaddy will actually help make your site a little secure. They check for vulnerabilities, they check for viruses. If someone tries to add something to your web page, GoDaddy will stop them. So it's actually worth the little extra money to have this extra security that comes on here. And you can click on here. You can do 1 month, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, whatever you want to do. You pick the plan you want. Say you start off with 2 years, add it to your cart, and then when you're done, simply they give you a couple extra choices, anything you want. Your email, if you want the extra email, you want the SSL certificates, you can add that, whatever you want. Enter a domain you would like to your website, actually, because we didn't put one in. Just put in my new store, search, is available, and just click next. They'll come to your credit card information, stuff like that. Because I didn't click the add button, it's asking me, oh, do not add. But anyways, you get the gist of it. Stuff like that. Then you just click checkout, continue to checkout. I'm not sure why that says $215, but We can actually go back because it really shouldn't. Let's go back one more here. Where did we leave off? We were here. Add to cart. This is actually my fault. I missed a step here. Just do this again. My new store. Search. Add. So that adds it to your cart. Now, let's click next. And it's going to give you an overview. Okay, that's why, $215. That's because we picked the $8.49 a month package for 2 years. That's why, because we have 2 of these too. We don't need 2 of these. We can delete one of these. There we go. So we have our host web ultimate security, links to, years recurring packages, because we did for 2 years, so 8 times 12 is what, like $96 times 2 plus whatever taxes or anything are going to be on here. mynewstore.com, quantity 1. .com, domain name registration, 1 year. $199. It looks like they're only charging you $2.17 here, so on and so on, so on. Continue to checkout. It's just going to bring you to your credit card information, account information, your credit card information, all that stuff. And then once you do that, you're all set up. Then once that's all done, what you will do is you come back to GoDaddy, you would log in, and you would go to your host page and upload your files to your host. And I'll show you that in the next video. We're going to end this video here, and I'm going to go on to uploading videos to your host in the next video. So stand by, take a break, have a coffee, and I'll see you in a minute.